Welcome to the Ultimate Hero Guide for Malvira. At the time of filming this, Malvira is the newest hero in Watcher of Realms, and she is even better than I thought. She is truly phenomenal. This is going to be a deep dive guide where we focus on content and showcasing her in action. I will take her into 4 pieces of late to end game content to really show how powerful she is as a DPS, as a tank, as a utility, as everything. We will do the last stage of Gear Aid 1, stage 21. We'll do the last stage of Gear Aid 4, aka Gear Dungeon 1. That will be stage 10. Then we'll take her into the last 2 stages of AMR. So AMR stage 21, that is the melee stage, and AMR stage 22, that is the platformer stage. She's going to shine in all of this content. It is phenomenal. I really can't overhype her enough. How good is she? At a minimum, she's the 3rd best tank in the game. At a maximum, she is numero uno, passing broke here in Cyrus. So, you be the judge, and let's get into it.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
All right, there is a lot of content to get into. There's a lot I want to show you in this guide and like strictly gameplay action showcase. So I'm going to be lightning quick in my overview of what she does. If you want a deep dive breakdown on her skills and awakenings and everything, I put out a video on that yesterday. I will link it above. Check that out. Link will be in the description and the top pinned comment as well. Hey guys, Fasti from the future. I just wanted to take 10 seconds to say, in the end, this video, all the prep, all the filming, all the trial and error, all the editing, took me over 7 hours. So if you appreciate this content, please subscribe to the channel. Let's begin. What does she look like? She's somewhere Ursula from The Little Mermaid meets Large Marge, meets an amazing warrior. She's clearly a big girl, but she's a beautiful girl too. I love her. I will tell you right now, I love the aesthetic. I love the gameplay. The whole thing, put it together, she is, at the time of filming this, my #1 favorite hero in the game. She's so powerful. She's so cool. She's so unique. I've been completely and utterly blown away, and my expectations were very, very high. Let's start with the base stats. She's got about 24,500 HP, slightly on the lower end. That being said, she does damage based off of HP, so I think they kind of took it down a notch. Defense is pretty good at 3,700 and then some. You like to see, 3,700 to 4K. She's not at the higher end there, but it's fine. Typical cost at 19 for a tank. It doesn't show here because of skill ups, but her base attack interval is also very typical at 2.4 seconds. That is not normally so important for a tank, but for her it is because she deals a lot of damage. Everything else completely standard. There's all your rage regen stuff if you want to take a peeksy pooksy. Let's continue on. Her skill here, there's a few things going on. I mentioned it briefly. Her damage purely scales off of HP. So we'll get into the build, but you can stack a lot of HP on her. So I've got a nice little hybrid build here between DPS and a ton of tankiness, and she's still coming in with just a hair less than 100,000 HP, and that's still with crit cap and over 300% crit damage and plenty defense. This is a really cool build in a very meta defense right-hand set as well. Let's go back. So damage is scaling off of HP. To start, she already will reduce all of her incoming damage, all the damage she takes by 10%, but it gets better than that. You're going to see she has a key mechanic called Resentment. She gains 1 stack for every 2 instances of damage taken. She has a 100% chance to gain another stack whenever an allied summon dies. She also gets 3 instantaneously upon deployment. What is Resentment? Well, each stack will further reduce her damage taken by 3%. You can stack up to 5 stacks. That is 15% additional damage reduction. Combine that with this 10, it is additive. That's 25%. And you're going to have her at 3 or 4, or usually, the vast majority of time, as you'll see, 5 stacks of Resentment most of every battle you bring her into. So she just doesn't take a lot of damage. She's crazy. Additionally, whenever she loses her Resentment state and she consumes her stacks, she will heal herself 10% of her HP for every stack she consumes or loses. That happens during the ultimate. The heals are huge, right? She's at 100,000 HP. You got 5 stacks, which she almost always does when she's ready to ult. That's just how it works out. You'll see it in battle. She heals for half her HP, 50,000 hit points. It's really nice. She got a great AoE magic-based attack. On the basic, 2 tiles in front, hits up to 5 enemies, 120% damage. She is magic damage. If we go to the ultimate, this is the coolest thing in the world. She's a melee unit with a 5x3 range, only 600 costs with 400 initial costs. This time looks weird. That is because it takes 2.7 seconds to cast this big AoE blast, and then she gets 10 seconds of increased block by 3. It is a ton. The whole time after the 2.7 seconds, the next 10 seconds, she can continue doing basic attacks. So the amount of damage she consistently puts out is really strong. On top of the big blast of damage and the extra block, she pulls in the 6 furthest enemies, brings them closer to her and your other units that want to deal damage to them. She consumes all of her stacks of resentment, so she gets that big heal right above my head, and she deals 600% AoE damage. This is a lot. Additionally, for each stat consumed, it increases final damage by 20%. This adds up in a major way. And then, like I said, 10 seconds after casting this, her block increases by 3. The first passive here, whenever she takes direct damage, there's a 1 in 5 chance, a 20% chance to gain a big shield, a spirit shield equal to 10% of her max HP. It lasts 5 seconds. She's often blocking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. She takes damage all the time. The shield stays up a lot. When her stacks of resentment reach full stacks, they reach the full 5, her next basic attack will consume 1 for a little AoE blast. It's easy to stack resentment, so you don't mind this. Finally, the thing that sets her to a whole nother level, right? She gets a second life. She has a major delayed death, and it is not a one-time use. It is on a 1-minute cooldown, which is better than basically anyone else in this game. When she takes fatal damage, she consumes 3 stacks of resentment, which she literally always has. She always has, feels like she always has 5, but she always has 3, 4, or 5. Trust me on that. She's going to consume 3, and she enters an unyielding state. She cannot die for 6 seconds. In that time, you can heal her back up if you've got the capability to do that. And then this can trigger once every minute with skill ups, once every 60 seconds. Very quickly with the awakenings, let me move myself out of the way. When she casts her ultimate, Call of the Reaper, she now doesn't just apply that HP, 10% HP shield to herself. That spirit shield is going to all other allies within 2 tiles. So a 2-tile circle around her. It can go on to, in theory, 24 other tiles. It's 2 above, 2 to the left, 2 to the right, 2 below in a big circular radius. It's pretty nutty. Anyone near her is getting a big shield. It scales off of her HP. Then A2, she gets really cheap. She's as cheap as you'll ever see a legendary tank at 19 cost, or maybe Constance is 18, but this brings her down to 16, similar to a Awakening that Reeve has. 16 is really cheap. Now the A3, this is the last really good one. During Call of the Reaper, she only takes 4/5 of the total damage, so only 80%. The remaining 20%, she'll slowly lose gradually over time, 2% per second over the next 10 seconds. So 10% of the remaining 20, 2% of the total damage. Over every second, she's getting healed up. It's perfect. She's really hard to kill. A4, additional HP, great for tankiness and obviously great for her damage. Finally, A5, she kills a lot of enemies if you bring her into AoE content. Each enemy killed increases her max HP by 2%, stacks up to 10 times, so you can increase it by 20%. That is kind of huge. That is kind of huge. There you go. That is the breakdown of Malvira. Let's kick things off with Gear Raid 1, Stage 21. You're going to see her in 4 pieces of content. Gear Raid 1, Stage 21, then Gear Dungeon 1, Stage 10, aka Gear Raid 4, 10, then both AMRs, 21 and 22. The last 2 stages of AMR, those are different pieces of content. So you're really going to see her shine. Let's kick it off with the easiest of the bunch. We're going to put her in front of the wall, and she's going to dominate. I did leave the screen, the hero selector screen, so you could see Power of Dominance is off. Power of Dominance will be off for all 4 of these fights. Do not worry. Before we do head into battle, though, I do have to show you her build, so let's get into that. How did I build Malvira? Kind of a nice hybrid situation here. We went for a tank set on the right side with tanky and DPS stats, and then we went for strict DPS on the left with still some tankiness because we're looking for HP, flat HP, stuff like that. Gear like this can be hard to come by. However, if you've been following my gear recommendation settings, I got grief for including these settings, but from the beginning, I have had rules allowing gear that is for defense-based and HP-based DPS to be accepted. I always said you could get rid of those rules if you wanted, but I put them there for a reason. I was anticipating one day we'd have a legitimately good HP-based DPS or defense-based DPS. She has arrived. It is an HP-based DPS, and it is Malvira. So if you have really good Soulbound Arcana, it would be amazing on her. Or even if you could get some Cataclysm, that'd be amazing too. And, run it with HP bonus main stats and then tons of crit damage, crit rate. You can see I'm running really low on attack speed, so this build has room for improvement. But here on the test server, I was kind of hurting for this kind of gear. Still, though, good build. You'll see we went Tempered Will here. This is just leading to even further damage reduction, so it's all stacking. She's ignoring like 40% of the incoming damage all the time. It also boosts her defense, which is really nice. I will say Unshaken Will is better because she'll get an HP boost, and it helps her DPS as well. That's more of a double dip. For the right side gear, I'd say most important if you want DPS is Soulbound Arcana, then Cataclysm. If you want to do tier 1, it would be Wisdom or Night Terror. And then if you want to do tier 2 and tier 3, and you want to go kind of hybrid, certainly you're going to want Unshaken Will. Then maybe if you want pure tankiness, you do Tempered Will or Guardian. And if you want some extra HP, you could do something like Asclepius. That is a tier 1 set as well. For the left, you want Astral Guardian or Immortal Warrior, or of course Life Force, all those HP sets with a little defense on the tier 2 and the tier 3, or just go straight DPS, get her into Wicked Vengeance, or get her into Annihilating Might. Get that nice crit damage. Warlord, the attack bonus does not help. Calamity, it doesn't help. Warlord gives a little attack speed boost, but at that point, just go for Whirlwind. Essentially, ideally, you want to have a really good DPS Astral Guardian. If you don't have that, you go to Immortal Warrior. If you don't have that, you go to Life Force. Then you go to Wicked Vengeance. That's what we worked with here. Her best in slot artifact by a mile is the newest non-hero exclusive artifact in the game, the Cadaver Dagger. It increases max HP by 5% and damage by 10%. This is at max promotion. You can see over here if you want to see base promotion, we've got that here. It starts off at still a 5% max HP boost, but only 6% damage, and it only lasts for 8 seconds on the doubling. However, the doubling is like the whole time. Any content where she's taking damage, which is content you're bringing her into because she's a tank, she's going to be taking damage at least once every 10 seconds, or 8 seconds if you don't have it fully promoted. So that means it's a 10% max HP boost and a 20% damage boost. This is phenomenal. If you want other kind of stuff, if you're running her just as a tank, which a lot of people will, especially in Guild Wars, you might want to use a Bastion Ring. If you want to get some nice healing, this scales off of her damage multiplier, which is HP. So Tuning Crystal is really good. There are a lot of nice options for her here. If I can shout out one legendary artifact, it would be the North's Will. She gets that Spirit Shield all the time, and she loses it all the time. So it's a lot of passive, consistent healing. It happens a ton. There you go. That's how I built her. I think some suggestions for how you can build her. Let's head into battle, starting with Gear Raid 1, Stage 21. Let's kick this thing off. There's a lot of different heroes I'm going to use in these 4 different runs besides Malvira. I tried to repeat some when I can. We're bringing Hollow into literally every battle. However, I'm not going to show everyone's build. Just take my word for it. Everyone's in pretty damn good gear. One thing I do want to shout out, Ajax here is in very good gear, and you'll watch Malvira can kind of keep pace. Ajax is going to go crazy because he's like built for this stage, especially with the setup I've got going here. However, she's still going to put out a tremendous amount of damage, so keep an eye on that. This is an Ajax with a maxed out exclusive artifact. He's got his exclusive bangle. He has a faction exclusive ring. It's a crazy build. But yeah, you saw the Malvira build. Moving forward, just trust me, everyone's in good gear. It's hard content. So let's begin. First things first, let's place Ajax here. Key thing, he's going to give magic res reduction from this tile in a circle all around, so that helps. Then we're going to place Beelzebub right there. You can see he's putting Invigoration plus 10% attack on Ajax and on himself. We don't need to do that on Malvira because she doesn't benefit from attack. So get that on your attack-based DPS. As soon as we have 19, we are going to place Malvira. There she goes. I'm going to wait till all these guys are kind of coming into her range. And you'll see you can always track her stacks of redemption here. So on deployment, she starts with 3. We'll wait till she gets hit 4 times, and then this will go up to 5. I can already get going with Beelzebub. He's going to do a lot of crowd control stuff and doing magic vulnerability. Let's check Malvira. She's up to 4 stacks. Wait one more moment. Now she's up to 5. Lost one because she did an AoE burst. Now, let's wait for her to be 5. There she is. Burst and burst with Ajax. And everyone should die, and everyone does die. Cool. All right, next up, we are going to do Hollow here. We can ult with Hollow, and then we'll get Artemis here. If I wanted to really min-max and get extra damage, especially if you had an A1 Artemis, you could put Beelzebub here, because you can see with this huge 5x3 range that he has, just like the 5x3 ult range that Malvira has, he'd be able to touch Artemis. I don't really care. I'll let Ajax and Malvira do all the DPS that we need. So let's wait. Time for a little anti-heal, and now we're going to place Eloin, so you can see Malvira's getting healed by Hollow and by Eloin, and we're already done. We're not going to place anyone else. So I'll wait till the heals stop. Looks like they just about have. Cool. Let's ult with Ajax. Should take care of these guys fine. I'm going to wait for all these guys to gather in again. Let's check those stacks. She's at a full 5 stacks. Let's go with Beelzebub. Unfortunately, Artemis isn't ready. Not the best Artemis build in the world, but it is really good gear. It really kind of is what it is. I didn't need to tinker with him too much here. This Artemis build is the build we're going to use for Gear Dungeon 1, aka Gear Raid 4, because that's the trickier content for him. You'll see Gear Raid 1 is the easiest of the bunch by a lot. The other ones took me a lot longer to choreograph perfectly. You can see, by the way, she's got 2-tile range this whole time. Her Ajax is doing a little bit too. They've been whacking away on the boss. And you can see we're getting stuff like Radiant Erosion that's only just going to jazz Ajax's damage up more at the end. His exclusive piece of gear is really crazy. He gets poisons, he gets Radiant Erosion, all these opportunities for damage over time. But we don't care. Let's check Malvira. You can see she's at 4 stacks. She's never going to be under 3 stacks. It's nuts how it works. Let's go with Beelzebub there. Let's check Malvira. She's got 5. Let's ult. See how she gathers everyone in the middle? She pulls them right towards her. It makes it really easy. We can ult with Ajax now too. Pretty good. We don't need to use Artemis there. We'll save him for these big boys coming down. Look how much damage we've already put out on the boss, right? He'll probably heal himself back up when he comes to the wall, but you can just see there will be strategies. If you did like Malvira, Ajax, and one other person in front of the wall, because we're handling this so well, we could kill it. We could kill the whole thing, right? It could be kind of crazy. But I wanted to show something that people could actually clear this content, a first clear this way. And you can see she has never been even close to dying. Keep an eye on when those shields pop too, and when she ults and consumes the the resentment. It's a ton of healing. It's a ton of healing. These guys are coming around the corner here. We're going to line up this Artemis ult. There's the anti-healing. Let's go with, let's wait for Beelzebub, ult with him. Now go with Hollow. We're going to place the Wood Elf here. Let's go with Malvira. Gather everyone in the middle. Let's go with Ajax. Let's ult with Eloin to make sure Artemis doesn't die. Not that I think he would. Now we start chunking these guys away. You can see the boss is healing himself up. We'll live with it. It's fine. That's life. Look at Malvira. Everyone's hitting her. It doesn't matter. Let's check. She's back to 5 stacks. Ult. Up to 41 kills. We're kind of cruising. We'll wait for Beelzebub here. Let's go with Ajax. Now we're going to wait for the next big heal. Look at the constant healing. Some of that's her. Some of that's Eloin. Some of that's Hollow. It's all good. We can get the Wood Elf down here. Let's wait till this is about halfway. Let's go with Artemis. Ult with Eloin. All right, they're all right there in the middle. Malvira. Look at that. Already done. Just 2 DPS. That's all we need. That's all it takes. So now, we haven't killed these fools yet. She's going to get the heal, which is annoying, I think. Yeah, it's very frustrating. I killed them in time, but she still had already decided she was going to do a heal. So we'll wait here. All right, let's wait till that healing stops. There we go. Malvira and Ajax before Beelzebub's done. Ult, and now it's over, right? Now it's just a waiting game. And I mean, really, look at this. Like, she was never even close to being on the verge of death. Like, the amount of tankiness you can get on her with DPS is really remarkable, especially if you're, like, earlier on. You don't need some, like, god-tier build like this, right? I don't even know if this is god-tier, but, you know, late game, good build, right? She's going to be the hardest carry for so many people in the next few months when they get her on new accounts. You will see. But there you go. This is her in like a typical piece of content. This strategy could easily work if you want to know who you could substitute in. I absolutely would suggest any good AoE DPS for Ajax. I just chose him because I know he's fun to use. I pulled him recently on my own account. And of course, he's bringing magic res reduction. You can see that's been here the whole time. Now you can see on the boss at least. But, you know, Virna would work, Honora would work, Comet would work, Boreas would work. If you have good gear, you can bring an Epic like Iona, an A5 Greed. She's doing a ton of heavy lifting. So let's go and let's check those stats. Move myself out of the way. You can see she's coming in over half of what Ajax is doing. And like I said, it's kind of a god tier Ajax build. Almost 67 million. And if you want it, you could get away. Well, you're not even close to the wall getting hurt there. You could bring a lesser DPS. She could be the primary, not the secondary DPS. The other thing I want to mention is she was doing a lot of blocking in front of the wall. We were taking far less direct damage on the wall. I do want to show you that IX build, though. I'm not going to do this all the time, show you other hero builds. But you can see, like, this is what she was competing against. There's the exclusive with great stats, crit rate and crit damage to the moon. You know, perfect substats here on a Cursed Cult weapon. Really nice stuff here. Really nice stuff here. Really well-rounded build. Let's keep going. I'm not even going to cut here. Let's head right into Gear Dungeon 1, aka Gear Raid 4. You can see Power of Dominance is off. This one is going to get a lot trickier. Hopefully I just nail it. We're going to do a cool little strat on the bottom with a double tank with Malvira dealing a lot of damage and essentially making Virna's life way easier. So this Virna is not in any exclusive gear or anything. It's a great build, don't get me wrong. But, you know, it's just like, this is a very typical Virna build. You'll see triple attack bonus on the right with trying to get 300% crit damage. I did a base level, base promotion exclusive artifact. She's good enough to do it herself, but it's a lot harder. It's not hard when you bring Malvira, who's going to pick up a ton of the DPS on the bottom. The top doesn't matter, but we will run a little trio of Hollow, Thalon, and Dolores, if you're keen on that. So we're ready for battle. Let's head in. POD is off. No power dominance. Let's go. Going to build this up from the bottom. You know, even using such good heroes and such good gear, hard content I found is always hard. So I'm going to focus here. We place Virna there. Elwyn pointed up. Virna gets Invigoration. You can see right next to my head right there. We wait till we have exactly 19 costs, and we get Malvira out immediately. Boom. Put her in that back spot. Really cool thing for her. She's got 2-tile basic attack range, which is pretty dang unique for a tank. Not strictly unique. There are some heroes that can do it. An obvious one that comes to mind for a tank is Torador. But it allows her, because she can deal a lot of DPS, a lot more than Torador, you can use her as a DPS behind a tank. This enables that. She can do it tanking, even in a pure DPS build, she can do a lot of tanking herself, but just a cool option. Let's ult with Elwyn to build some Soulbound Arcana stacks. Let's get a little hit on these guys there with Virna. Now I'm waiting for the Wood Elf. If you haven't caught my 10 things you didn't know video, the Wood Elf costs 5 to place. Look at the cost there. It goes down to 19. Now it's up to 20. Pick it up, you get 8 back. So it's a 3 cost, you get 3 net cost, which is a really random, great thing and cool cost generation. We're going to place Trusk. Here's another guy that's got the 2 tiles. Trusk is fun to use here because I feel like he doesn't get enough love. I really like Trusk. And on top of that, when he ults, he gets extra block. It's from his passive, but it's tied into his ult. So that's pretty cool. Let's slow this on 1x for a second as we get ready. When this like line here, this wood pole is in line with like half of the mobs, you see there, it's like halfway through their thing. That's when you ult with Artemis. Now look at this Malvira range. Wait till this guy's almost in it. Now you ult. We don't have to ult with Trusk here. Let's get an Element ult. And then we should get the Wood Elf in 1 second. But you'll see, look how much damage we're getting before we even ult with Virna, right? We're just in the mix of Virna's basics and then that big blast from Malvira and now her basics. It is a ton. Let's be sure to ult with Virna, though. Now we're going to play Thalon with Dolores. Pick those guys off. You can see we got Invigoration on Thalon. I'm going to try to focus on the bottom because that's those are the stars of the show. However, there's a lot of moving parts here. All right, we're waiting for Artemis to load up. So this is where the extra block from Trusk comes in. Now these guys are out. So ult with Dolores, ult with Thalon. Once that Thalon ult goes through, we're going to ult with Hollow. Now we can ult with Element, and let's get that extra block from Trusk. I'm not ulting with Malvira until Artemis is ready. He is. So let's ult with him. Now we go with Malvira. And then we want to wait as long as we can until the end of Artemis's ult to ult with Virna. And sometimes when I was testing this out, we don't even need to ult with Virna. I mean, look at this damage between Malvira and Virna. It eases your loads in such a major way, right? Might be tricky up here with Thalon. I hope it isn't. I hope I don't have to restart. Let's see. Is he just going to pick those guys off? Come on, Thalon. Looks like he did. Awesome. All right, we're off to the races. Thank goodness. I did not want to restart there. I'm going to make myself slightly smaller so it's a little easier to see. All right, cool. So there these guys walk out. Ult with Dolores and ult with Thalon. Let's get... do we need to ult with Element? No, we'll wait. So same story. These guys are going. We can recharge with Hollow. Same story on the bottom here, right? We're waiting till they start to move. Everyone's ult should be ready. Fallon picked it off that time, no problem. I timed it out a little better. I had more time to focus on the top instead of the bottom as well. Let's wait till these Saints come marching. Remember when like the post is at the halfway point, like right there, we can ult with Artemis. Check that Malvira range. Let's ult with Malvira. Let's get an Eloin ult going. Let's wait. Okay, good time to ult with Virna. Just clean it up. All right, let's go Dolores and Fallon. Let's go with Hollow. A lot of moving parts. Like I said, hard content is hard content. Even though you have great heroes and great gear, hard content is hard content. This is the last tricky part, so let's throw it on 1x. We'll get some healing here for Trusk if he needs it. You know, Trusk is a great tank. When it comes to pure tankiness and withstanding damage, he is not to the level of a Broke here or something, so he could use a little extra healing. We're not going to go with Malvira. Ooh, let's get the ult with Trusk, excuse me. Let's get an ult with Eloin. We're not going to go for the ult with Malvira until we got the ult from Artemis. All right, we got it. If we had an ult with Trusk there, by the way, that last guy would have passed through. Now we can ult there with Malvira. Big burst of damage. I hope you guys are seeing those numbers. 550 for everyone to all of those units, whatever it was, 9 units that she hit. It's up to 10. We can go with Dolores, go with Fallon, go with Hollow. Let's wait a moment. All right, wait. Let's see. Take a little peek. Okay, let's go with Virna, and we're good to go. So this was a somewhat meta, somewhat a little more minimal than it had to be strat. There's a world where you could do Constance and Malvira at the bottom, and she could get a lot more DPS out, and also Virna would. In that case, if you ran like Constance behind Malvira, if you had a nice hybrid build on Malvira, you know, there's a world with her and Virna that you could do some crazy stuff without any good gear or like pretty mediocre gear. Another thing you could do is put, like if you saw how Virna was like this facing that way, put Constance right. Let me just show you on the map. What am I doing? I'm just theory crafting live, but it's worth it. Don't worry, because this. Let me know if it's you. This will help someone beat it. Let's go to the map here, and you'll see Virna was here, pointed this way. You could put Malvira in the back. You could potentially run no kind of anti-heal at all. Only run Malvira as the one tank. Put Constance here behind Malvira, or diagonal from Malvira, and behind Virna. Here you could put Beelzebub or Greed, or if you had Beelzebub, you'd put him here and put Virna in front. But you could put Greed or Mari, anything to buy a little time. That should be enough to burst it down with those 2 sources of DPS. So that's a cool other thing. This unlocks a lot of new stuff, right? She's actually a tank. She wasn't even close to dying, and she actually dealt a ton of damage. I just realized I forgot to show you the damage. I'm going to run that again, and then I'll show you the damage at the end. All right, had to run that again. Silky smooth, though, I will say. I'm sure I'll have made it like 12x, and I think I was playing in my head the yakety sax music, so I probably will play that for you. I think that's copyright free. But yeah, let's see. New clearance. Doesn't matter. Let's go to the stats. And there you go. I mean, she's not Virna, but that is not nothing, and that eases the load in a really tremendous way, and she was not even close to dying at any point. She's a pure, true tank, so even if your Virna was good enough, or your Comet was good enough, however you want to do it, she could just be your full-blown tank. Like, she could be your Brokier. She could be your Cyrus. She is that level of tank. So we're going to try this again. You guys might have saw I had to cut between Gear Raid 1 and Gear Dungeon 1. It took me my second attempt. Maybe I can go straight from Gear Dungeon 1 now to AMR 21. Let's try that. Believe it or not, AMR 21 is the melee stage, but this is the stage I had more trouble figuring out with the specific strategy you're about to see than stage 22. I did slightly hamstring myself by not bringing extra melee DPS. I went for tanks and stuff like that. You'll see we're going to use Olog, where we could easily use, an Arrogance or a Callista, Valkyra, Ardia, anything like that, but I wanted to let Malvira shine as much as possible. So kind of a funky squad here. We're running Malvira as the only cultist DPS, and then we've got no faction at all Volca. Volca's going to handle the top right. And then we have this interesting little trio of Watchers here. Eris at A0 still going to do really good work. And then we got Estrid, no faction as well. There you go. Power of Dominance is off. Let's head into battle. I really hope I get this one on the first try. Let's go, guys. Let's go. So first things first, we'll place Eris here. And we're going to place Hollow. This is just so he can get Invig. I don't need to place Malvira first because she doesn't need Invig. Until there's some kind of set that gives increased HP to an ally, doesn't matter when you place her. So we'll wait. As soon as we have 19 costs, we're going to place Ein behind her because why not? We just need someone behind her. Let's wait. I'll show you what her range looks like here. You can see she's already up to her 3 stacks of redemption on deployment. So I'm kind of fine with that. Let's wait till they're all in. They are. Now let's go with Eris. Let's get going with Hollow. And then we're just going to place Olog right here in front of Eris. Let's ult with Ein. As soon as we have 14, we can place Estrid so she can start loading up. Let's get another blast. Look at that hit. Boom, 687. She had 5 stacks of resentment there. 687 on a big AoE. And she gets to keep doing her basics, right? So she gets that pick off there. Everyone's dead. There is Regulus. Let's ult, load everyone up. Let's go with Estrid already because these guys can be tricky. We want Malvira to start loading up as well. All right, let's go with Eris. She's at a full 5. Beautiful. Big blast. Let's see it. 589 that time. Don't know what the difference could be. Oh, you know what? She hadn't been attacked recently, so she didn't get the double damage boost and double max HP boost from her artifact. So that's an example where we didn't get that benefit. But it's all good. Let's ult with Regulus, and now we can place Volca up here. Volca's in a Lunacy Visor. There you can see it pops up above her head. Let's go with Hollow. So now I'm deciding if I want to ult with Malvira or not. I don't think I do, because if it's just only one guy to explode, we should be fine. Let's go with Estrid. Let's see. Just one explosion. Oh, she got the kill anyway. Perfect. Let's go with Volca. Going really smooth. Probably I've done this about 5 times successfully with this comp, but this is probably the smoothest it's been. Hopefully it stays that way. Let's wait till these guys get into Malvira's range. She is at a full 5 stacks. She hasn't been hit recently, so what I'm going to try, I'm going to let her get hit twice. Or I guess just the once is fine. Oh, she just did her explode anyway. Let's go with Regulus. Let's go with Ein. Now we'll go, and it should be a big blast again. Let's see it. Yeah, 687 is crazy, and this isn't even a pure DPS build. And the cool thing is she does that big blast, and she just goes right back to basic attacking. Even the ultimate's still going. It's not like she's locked out for those 12.7 seconds. You get that quick blast over 2.7 seconds, and she's back to whacking them all down. Very good stuff. Let's go with Estrid here. The only thing that can mess this run up now is Estrid, and Estrid died. Are you freaking serious? Run it back, baby. Run it back. I'll just get to that part. All right, we just got back to the point where I placed Volca. I think this is a good point to resume. Malvira is just absolutely whacking away. Let's ult. We need Estrid to go. Get those pickups. She needs to pick at least one of those guys off before the explosion, and she did. She actually picked off both. Perfect. Can ult with Regulus. Estrid's doing much better this time. It's the problem with these guides. I'm not focusing on the whole strategy. Sometimes I'm focusing on just the key thing, and then I neglect Estrid. That's how it goes. All right, let's go with Eris here. Let's wait till Malvira gets hit so we can take full advantage of that artifact. Great. Let's ult with Hollow. Yeah, Estrid's in total control this time. We've got an ult coming as well. Let's ult with Regulus. And I think the DPS here of all the ones so far is going to amaze you the most. Eris is one of the top melee DPS, pound for pound, in a perfect build, perfect everything. He's like #1 in the game probably for AoE besides Ardia. And she's going to be right there with him. She's controlling his lane, her lane just the way he controls his lane. Obviously, he kills a little faster, but still, she's right there with him. Let's wait till she gets hit once, and then we'll do the big blast. And basically, we're done. We're in control. Only Estrid can mess it up. Let her get hit, and he's just tickling her. She can't get hurt. And GG. All right. So it took our second try. We had Geared 1 on our first try. Gear Dungeon 1 on our second, and we got AMR 21 on our second. I'm not going to forget to show you the DPS this time. I'm not going to make that mistake. You can see it's like what? Almost to the number 5 million less. It's 5 million. What would that come out to? 5,775,000. That's what that is. It's hard doing it because these are thousands of thousands. But dang, pretty freaking good. That strat is super doable as well. You got to start saving your like Soulbound Arcana or whatever you want it to be. I mean, even Infernal Lord would work with her. It doesn't help her ultimate, but it'll help everything else. You know, save your Cataclysm, save your Ageless Wrath, all your good tier 1 stuff, the stuff with HP bonus main stat. But once you have it, you guys are going to be blown away by how good she is. All right, AMR 22, our last piece of content. Can this video be under an hour? That's the goal. Stage 22, Power of Dominance is off. We're doing a cool strategy here. For the top left and the right, we're just bringing a goated Silas and a goated Hex. Who cares? Focus on the middle and the bottom. That's what this is all about. And we're going to run a pretty cool thing with like a lot of crowd control from Beelzebub, from Ajax, and then really cool stuff from Mari. And you're just going to see her and Ajax. They just unload. Really hoping we get another first try. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And let's see it. So first things first, we're going to place Ajax right here. Now we're going to place Hollow here. And then for Malvira, we place her here because this is the quicker entrance to the portal. That's where we want her to be blocking. And block she will. Let this roll up. Now we'll get Beelzebub placed right there. So he is going to give inspiration to Ajax, which is going to be great. But he's going to give a lot of consistent slows and magic vulnerability as well. By the way, like everyone here is A0. If that wasn't clear, I should have said that earlier on in the video. We'll place Mari here, pointed down. Let's check out the Beelzebub range. All right, we're pretty good. Let's wait till these guys are crowd controlled at all. Now we go with Malvira. Now Beelzebub. Wait, now Ajax. Now we can go with Hollow. And now we chip away, baby. Everyone's dead. Let's get Silas here. See, I am trying to reuse heroes. There's our Regulus. Everyone's loaded back up. Let's get a freeze with Mari. Now let's get an ult with Malvira. Let's ult with Silas here. Let's go with Ajax. And now we can ult with, let's get Beelzebub actually. I should have done Beelzebub before Ajax, but we should just make it, and we do. Hope that doesn't mess my timing up too much, but you can see Silas, total cleanup crew there. Hex is in an Ichor Chalice to keep himself healed up, so we'll place him there. You can see it appear above his head. We need Beelzebub coming around. He's taken forever. We can ult with Hex, ult with Regulus. Let's ult with Mari. After these guys are frozen, we'll ult with Malvira. Click that there with Hollow. Now Beelzebub into Ajax. Let's ult with Silas. I hope I wasn't too late. I don't think I was. Start picking them off, Silas. Should be good. Let's get a Regulus ult. We look good. Very nice. All right, here they come. So no love for Malvira here. She's not in the lane, but this is how you got to get the kill. Let's ult. Oh, and actually, I can get the ult there. I take that back. Look at that big ult, actually. Pretty nice. One ult with Ajax should do it. Please, please, please. Okay, and we got it. He almost snuck in, but we did get it. I think this is pretty cool, pretty clever strat. Not groundbreaking, but it just shows you she's so versatile. You can use her in so many ways. And anything I didn't show, I was clearly focusing on the hybrid stuff and the DPS. She's as good a tank as anyone. She can tank anything. If you go full tank build, she's going to blow you guys away. You're going to see her a lot in GVG. There's a lot of really cool creative things I haven't even thought of yet that you guys will think of. So anywhere you need a tank, right? You just like need a tank in Gear Raid 5, Gear Dungeon 2, there's your tank. You need a tank in Tank Codex, Hellfire Emperor, she gets +3 block when she ults. She's going to be completely meta. Every single top team will use her for that extra block. I mean, it's going to go on and on and on. You're progressing through Void Rift and you need tanking. She's going to help you. She's going to help you everywhere. So pretty cool stuff. Let's check that DPS. Ajax coming in clutch, but again, she's like, this time almost half of Ajax. What is that, 38% or something like that. Pretty freaking dang good, 38, 40%. Just great stuff. She blew me away, guys. I'll be honest, probably it will say like even better than I thought. Maybe I'm going to write that on the thumbnail. I don't know. She's even better than I thought. I thought she would be amazing. If there was more use for tanks in this game, she would have this triple S, double S argument, but she's definitive S+, definitive top 3 tank in the game, if you're not counting Lord skills and stuff like that. And potentially, if you're not counting Lord skills, there might be an argument she's number one, the number one tank in the game. There might be a real argument. I won't say that until we've tested her out more in PvP, but I think she's got some real play in AoE Arena, and I think she's got tons of play in Guild Wars. Thank you for watching. I've been Fastidious. I'm sure I said it at the beginning, but I will say it again now. Videos like this take me truly a tremendous amount of time. I've been working on this one for almost 6 hours. So if you appreciate this content, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it so much. I love my girl, Malvira, my favorite hero in the game. Thank you. Share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.